Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dance. This week, we have on musician Brian Sutherland. We talk about our birth stories, not being able to fix things around the house, lots of cello talk, and schedules when both of you are working full-time. We really hope you enjoy the episode. The attempts of...
Hey, you want to hear about my birthing story?
Hey, you know what, Brian? We were sitting here earlier and we were talking before your phone said, I don't want to work anymore. Hey, Brian, you know what, man? I heard from a very reliable source you had a kid during the pandemic and a kid not so much during the pandemic. How do you feel like those two were different?
Drastically.
Okay. All right. Now. Yeah. So you had... For the record, once again, everyone listening to this, we talked for 10 minutes, then our technology crapped out. So
not ours. No, yours
listen,
is in great shape.
I am trying to be accepting, and you know what?
That, yeah.
Anyway,
I have an iPhone from the first Obama administration.
Do you really?
No.
Oh my God. Because that would have been like when they first came out. So
yeah, that's true.
That would have been impressive.
This is it's an 11, so it's probably 5 years old or something.
Yeah, you bought it yesterday, so it's now completely outdated and obsolete.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
So we have an older daughter named Eleanor and a younger daughter named Amelia.
Yes.
And basically the whole thing we were talking about, the experience, the birthing experience for the dad, and the hospital did a great job. They were really sweet, but it was COVID time, so we were all sequestered, and you couldn't really go anywhere. I could leave once a day, and we had some health complications in there as you do, and so that made it even a little bit harder. But I don't know. For me, I loved the whole experience mainly because it was ours. It was private, and both of our families are in Florida. And they would have been there in a heartbeat. And my in-laws were actually at our house watching our dog and our cat, and waiting for us to get home. And, but at that moment, it was so nice to not be on anyone else's schedule, not be on not live to any, not that they did put us on that kind of expectation list or anything like that, but just to not have any of it felt really freeing. We could just be there.
Our first kid, our labor was 26 hours.
Oh my crow.
Yeah. So, but it is a different experience of like having my parents, my in-laws in the waiting room, and them just being like, "Hey, I'm not trying to pressure you, but like, how's it going?" And you're just
What's going on?
I don't want to answer any of these questions because we can't, like, it's what's happening is happening. And we're doing whatever the doctor or midwife is saying is the best to progress things. But ultimately, like, I don't got a timetable for you. I don't know when any of this is going to happen. Also, this is our first kid. So literally, I have no idea what the hell is happening. So I agree that for when we had our third kid, it was September of 21. So still COVID times. And like no one, like I think once we gave birth and went into the next room, we were there for like 36 hours. Like they were trying to get beds back so they could help more people as quickly as they could.
Yeah.
So just very different experience.
We were in and out pretty fast. Yeah. Our first one, we ended up back at the hospital too.
Really?
We came home for a day, and then my wife had some blood pressure things going on, so we had to go back.
Oh yeah.
And then we were there for like 4 days, 3 or 4 days.
Oh,
and so that was a whole other thing. And it's like on top of being in lockdown, right? On top of lockdown since March. Well, let me even go back. Okay, we're in Nashville. There's a lot of musicians on your podcast, I bet.
Yep.
I'm an artist. I released a record March 13th, 2020. Awesome day to release that record. That's okay. It's all right. At the Bluebird. We were the last 6:00 show at the Bluebird in the year of 2020.
In March.
And in March. And then, so we found out we were pregnant. I did that show, lockdown. The whole of lockdown, we're in an apartment in Brentwood. Me, my growingly pregnant wife, and our dog and cat in a very small apartment. And then we buy a house at Father's Day in Spring Hill, which is now 45 minutes from the hospital and from our OB. Yeah. And, we're doing that whole thing. First time homeowners, the whole shebang through COVID, all that, and then to have the first baby. And it was just like, that whole year feels like a dream sequence to me. Like it doesn't feel real in any way, shape, or form. And then January 1, 2021, we woke up with a baby in a house, it was great.
Yep. It's crazy because like I feel like it's this constant. I love the discussion of like reality and dreams, basically. Because like your dream wasn't to go back into the hospital with your wife because her blood pressure was off with your newborn. But hey,
it wasn't ideal.
It's not ideal, but it's what you do. And I just I love discussing it because I feel like it's like where a lot of humanity lives. It's like, hey, this is what I thought was going to happen. What happened? None of what I thought would happen whatsoever. Like it all. I love like the whole, I don't know if your OB was like, hey, let's talk about your birth plan. Cause I feel like it's a hilarious concept of like, well, what's your ideal labor? And it's like, well, it's not going to happen. So should I even say it? Like
I know we had, I feel like we had a birth plan. We had like music and we had like that whole thing. I don't think we did any of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, did you make a playlist? I definitely made a playlist, assuming we would use it. Okay.
I think I was going to, and the more that I thought about doing it, the less I thought we were going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. At that moment, the last thing I'm thinking is, which John Mayer song do I want playing as my baby crowns?
I only used our playlist whenever on the other side of the wall, someone was not having a good time giving birth and you could hear them screaming through the wall. So I was like, hey, let's put some music on real quick. So
you know what we need right now?
Yeah, you know
Ray
what? Let's do some Al Green. Let's just go ahead. Let's get some horn sections. So you have some very like bump, bump, bump to go with the screams through the wall. And then my wife was like, I didn't hear any of that. And I was like, I did one thing right that day. Good to know.
We didn't. Yeah, that wasn't our experience at all.
I'm glad.
I didn't have that. Yeah, that's funny. That's really funny.
No, I mean it's the weirdness of like you have parenting, birth, all this is a massive moment in your life, and the things you problem solve in it. You're just like, I did not expect to be doing this today, but here we are.
Yeah, well, and the difference between the two, right? The first time we go in, we're in for a couple days, and initially we went in. My wife went in after an OB appointment. Like she went in and they were like, "Hey, you should probably stay." Like,
okay.
And I wasn't there, so I'm driving up to meet her.
Yeah.
And so there was that sense of like, stress, you know. And then we're there for a few days. We have our baby, and then come home for a day. It's the longest night of my entire life.
Yep.
And then we go back the next day, and we're there for 3 or 4 days. Like that whole experience. And then our second, we like went in. We were pretty quick through labor. Baby was born. I think we were there 1 or 2 days, maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
And then we were out, and I was like, this was so much smoother. Nothing's going to go wrong. This is going to be great. Well, I had bought a minivan. We had bought a minivan in May. We got my oldest and I had gotten into a car accident in May, got rear-ended. And nothing bad, but enough to startle you. And we buy a minivan. We did it. We are now official. We have a Chrysler.
Your parents.
We're in it.
Yeah.
We are full-fledged.
Now you can have like 6 more kids and you're ready to go, you know?
Oh my God. It terrifies me.
Me too.
Yeah. And so we got this, I don't know if I can curse. We have this badass.
You're good. No, you're good to curse. Yeah.
New van. I'm super excited about it. All the bells and whistles. CarMax guy was super excited, you know? And, pull it up. I pull it up to the thing. Our second baby was born in November. It was cold. Car was parked in the hospital for a couple of days. I pulled it up to the window, to the door, and then I park and I go upstairs and go get them and bring them down. And we get back in the car, new baby, 38 degrees outside, and the car won't start.
Oh no!
We're sitting in the parking lot of this hospital.
And the battery died?
And the battery
No.
Yes.
Dude. It's really low. You sit there though, and you're just like, I'm sorry. You like look at your wife and you apologize as if like you killed the battery.
I did it, right?
Like you didn't do it.
And at equal parts, I'm like pissed because this is such a cool van.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And So now you're waiting, and the hospital sends a maintenance guy with a jump starter kit, and he comes to you and he goes, "Where's the battery?" And you go,
I don't know, man.
Not a clue in the world.
I just bought this guy.
I have no idea. So now I'm totally, is it emasculated or demasculated?
Yeah, you're emasculated. You're extremely emasculated. You are.
I am useless.
There is nothing you're doing to support your family in this exact moment.
I'm waiting for the nurses to come out and go, nah, not this one.
Listen,
no, we're taking this one back.
We need to take this baby back inside. Whenever you find a new husband who knows how to start a car, maybe then we'll release you.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, that sucks.
The worst.
I feel like I have the same like inside of me where if there's something with like the car or the house that isn't working, I for some reason I'm like, oh, I know how to fix this. And it's like, Devin, how would you know how any of this works? There's not a chance. No. Oh, there's a hole in the drywall. Have you ever patched up drywall before, Devin? No. Why do you think you should know how to do that? In what scenario do you think you should buy a new car and exactly know where the negative and positive input is on everything in it?
Well, these modern cars, they got batteries everywhere.
They kind of do. They're pretty important now. So, oh man, I would have felt so useless in that. I would have just been like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, all you can do is kind of laugh the whole drive home.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, it didn't feel good. It wasn't a good feeling at all.
Well, already whenever you leave the hospital with your kid, like I remember someone put my wife in for the third kid, put my wife and the baby in like the wheelchair and brought her out to the car. And the entire time I was like watching that person go over bumps and I'm like, do I need to push you out of the way? Like, you have that weird like protective energy already of like, which I didn't know I had in me until I had a kid, of this like almost like animalistic protective, like get away. I need to protect these things. But you look at like the hospital person just like pushing your wife in a wheelchair and you're like, hey, you need to be careful. And they're like, what do you think? Like my entire job is just to be careful.
This is my 52nd birth today.
Exactly. Like I know the path through the parking garage. You got lost. Like, and it's like, yeah, you're right. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. She'd have come out and been like, the battery's over here.
Yeah, I love whenever you get a new car and someone's like, "Can you pop your hood?" And you're like, "I don't even."
Not a chance.
Did you pop the trunk? I didn't mean to.
You're lucky it's on. All right, you're lucky it's on. I get into this thing and I'm looking for the shifter, and the shifter
is it the
and the
dial?
Volume.
Yes, it's the dial. Yep. And you're just sitting there and you're like, I promise. Well, it's because also like you just went through like a really stressful, but you like the range of emotions you just went through for birthing a second kid is like every emotion possible. And then someone's like, turn your car on, and you're like, oh, that's so simple. I'm befuddled.
Right.
So
yeah.
Oh, how'd you end up in Nashville? You do music, right?
Yeah, I'm a guitar player and a cellist and a songwriter.
Cellist. I think you might be the first cellist we've had on.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's just something that I've loved to do my whole life. And we were in Florida. We lived in Lakeland, Florida. I don't know if you know Florida well.
Nah,
we lived in Central Florida, about halfway between Tampa and Orlando.
Okay.
For like 10 years. And I played every wine bar and bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah.
Yeah.
And every event I could. And I kind of hit a point where it was like, I can't play any more shows than I'm doing.
Yeah.
I was playing 300 nights a year.
Damn. Yeah.
And I can't charge anymore because it's just, the well was kind of dry.
Mm-hmm.
So I got into doing songwriting after I went to a songwriter festival in Fort Myers. And I started meeting people that were here and started coming up here. I'd toured through a little bit with a couple different groups, and just fell in love with the whole culture, the idea, that I could be a dad, I could be a husband, I could be home, I could make music. I didn't have to be on the road all the time.
Yep. Nice.
Rad.
Yeah. Are you originally from Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah. I'm from like Fort Myers, Naples area.
Okay.
And my wife is from like the Tampa area.
Sweet. We have, there's a guy in Nashville named Carter Hamrick. He does, like kids books nowadays. He does like Big Old Day at the Beach, Big Old Day at the fill in the blank, basically. And
nice.
He does a singer-songwriter thing. His wife is originally from Naples. So he does a singer-songwriter thing in Naples, like every single year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think it's called Nash to Naples specifically.
Nash to Naples.
Yep. So
yeah, here it is. Nash to Naples.
Nash to Naples. Yep.
In January. When do you want to go to Naples? January.
Is it really January? Is it pretty nice in January?
It's better than here. Good Lord.
That's fair.
You know, what they don't have is 2 inches of ice in your neighborhood.
Yeah, that was fun last January. The whole, it's going to snow. Now it's going to melt. What's going to happen now? It's going to be like 15 degrees for like a week. And you're like, oh.
Cool.
I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Indiana. So people will always be like, oh, so you know how to drive in snow. And I'm like, I do. But like, it doesn't matter. Like, why would Nashville have salt trucks to be able to deal with 2 feet of ice? They shouldn't.
No.
And it doesn't matter where you're from. You don't drive on ice. That's what you
People
do.
don't. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's why the Midwesterners are so good at billiards, darts, and drinking.
Basically, you've hit up some college Midwest towns.
Yeah, boy. I have been through the Midwest. Don't you worry.
Now, I mean, I
remember going out there and seeing a bowling alley where they had to hand do the score. And I was like, what are we doing here?
Yep.
I haven't seen an overhead projector in 20 years.
Have you ever been to, this was my favorite bowling alley thing in the Midwest, was the bowling alley with the like lunch buffet. That way, if you were there and you got snowed in over lunchtime, you still have lunch. So
no, Devin, I missed that one. Sorry.
You have much more to experience in your life.
I missed the lunch buffet.
The lunch buffet at the bowling alley, man. You just never know.
What if you got trapped overnight? Do they have a breakfast buffet?
They might, actually. Depending on the bowling alley, they might. It's great. Growing up in the Midwest and trying to go to a bowling alley on a Friday night was actually a very busy experience.
I believe that. Yes. Living in Spring Hill, it's interesting. Date night here is like Walmart.
Yeah,
and
basically.
Target.
Yeah. Yep.
When I've walked through, like I had to go get diapers in the middle of the night or whatever, and went into a Walmart on a Thursday, Friday night, and it's like nothing but teenagers walking around. It's terrifying. Yep.
That was my Midwest experience. Was it'd be like, all right, cool. I didn't drink underage because everyone I knew who drank underage like got arrested. So I was like, that's not a good decision. So you just like, you go drive around, you go to a Walmart because they're open past 9 p.m. And I didn't have enough money to like go to the movies or anything. So like,
right.
You just find entertainment wherever you can find it.
So funny. Different cultures, man.
Different cultures. What was I going to say? So you have 2 girls. Did you ever expect to be like a dad or specifically a girl dad?
Oh, I'd be a terrible boy dad.
Would you really? You don't even know how to start your car. So, I mean.
Yeah. The degree in classical cello is not helping.
Oh, not so much.
No.
Oh.
It's for the stereotypical like boy dad thing of like, I'm going to take him to Taekwondo and this is pain leaving the body and all that stuff. I don't have that in me. I'm not that either. Yep. I love tennis. I'll play tennis, but like sport, I play golf a little bit, but sports and like being a team sport dad, thing, I wouldn't be good at it. I mean, I would be there. I'd be present and I'd cheer them on, but I don't know. I don't have that thing.
You'd figure, I have 2 girls and then my 3rd kid is a son. So like, you adapt, right? You adapt, you figure it out, you learn how to do it. But like, I wanted to be a girl dad first before like a son. Like I wanted a daughter first, definitely. Yeah. Because I'm similar of like, how masculine are you? And I'm like, dude, like I'm the most.
I make a mean pour over coffee.
Exactly. And I will take my time. You will taste every possible bean in there. If you want me to bake you a cake, I will bake you a beautiful cake, which is not a very alpha male thing to do. So
yeah, but I do have an apron that says "Watch me whip" with a whisk on it. All right, that is a real thing that's downstairs in my kitchen.
That is amazing.
Yes.
But no, I'm similar to you of like growing up in high school. Like I played some soccer. I'm 6'4" and I'm from Indiana. So like I was forced to play basketball. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
They were like, you're tall. You go out there and get in the way.
Just stand there.
I was defensive center.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I basically grew up playing acoustic guitar and playing sad songs and then like,
nice.
And that's about it. So yeah, whenever you go from that, it's like, now go raise a boy. It's like, hey man, I know you're 2 days old. Here's the cure. And you're going, And here's Joy Division. You won't understand it until you're in your 20s.
And then you're really going to understand it.
You're really going to understand it and also have some questions. And I'll be here for you whenever you have those moments.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right.
What made you want to study cello? Are you a double major or are you just like a single major in cello?
No, my major is in cello performance.
Okay.
I played guitar through college, but it was cello got me to college, and then guitar kind of got my friends and got a social life. But this actually tracks really well. I was in PE in Florida in 6th grade, and I don't know if you know anything about Florida schools. They're outside. Everything's outside.
Okay.
Right. We don't have indoor hallways because it's 100,000 degrees. No,
I did not know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, at least at our schools.
Yeah.
And so here's me sitting on the tarmac at 9:45 in the morning, and it's 100 degrees already, and they're calling roll and everything. And this guy, I should say, my brother and my sister. I'm the youngest of 3, and my brother and my sister were both like really great established athletes. My brother was like, he's your height. He was like 4th or 5th in the state in cross country when he was in high school. He's very athletic. My sister travel softball, did the whole thing. Like they saw me coming and they're like, oh great, another one, and I was not living up to their expectations.
Yep.
And so this guy with a ponytail came out and was just like, hey, we're going to start an orchestra. Who wants to join? And I was like, I raised my hand and I asked, does it get me out of this? And he said yes. And so I signed up for orchestra that day.
That's amazing.
And when I went in, they had people playing violin, and it was really abrasive to my ear. And the bass just seemed like a lot of real estate to cover. Yeah. So I sat down, they handed me a cello, and it really made sense pretty quickly to me. So yeah, I did that, and then I went to a magnet school for music, and then got a scholarship to go play for college, and I did orchestras and played professionally for a little bit off and on, and it was fun. It's a very cool way to make a living. It's kind of a really hard way to make a living. Yeah. So guitar kind of kept my lights on in a lot of ways.
I'm going to ask a really nerdy question. What's the tuning on a cello?
From low to high, it's C, G, D, A. So it's tuned in fifths.
Okay.
A violin is G, D, A, E. So cello has a low C, violin has a high E.
Gotcha.
Similar to how a mandolin is tuned.
Yeah.
But it has a low C instead of an E.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Because I've played some mandolin, and I know that's basically a violin, but like backwards, right? Or reversed?
No, it's the same as a violin. It's just double the string,
that's
2 strings per thing.
It's been a while since I've done my mandolin theory and corresponded it to a violin.
I got you.
My bad.
I'm with you.
So
mandolin's fun. I like that instrument.
It is. I've just listened to too much Chris Thiele in Nickel Creek, and I've set the standard.
There is no such thing.
I've set the standard too high, so every time I go to play it, I then listen to Punch Brothers, and I'm like, what am I doing? I need to stop. I don't know who I think I can be here.
Man, that's like learning how to write cursive and then seeing Da Vinci and giving up.
Exactly, and being like, I should. This probably isn't the lane for me. I should bounce. Right.
That's funny.
My mom had a friend in, I think, middle school or high school who played, I think it was either bass or cello, because if she played it, the instrument was too big to fit on the bus. So her parents had to drive you to and from school, as opposed to you waiting at the bus stop and sweating outside.
My mom was pissed. My mom was so angry.
She was like, God damn it, Brian, why did you choose this instrument?
Her first response was, what the hell's a cello?
Are you serious?
When I explained it to her, I was like, hey, you need to come get me. And I started guitar in the after school program the same week. Yeah. And so here's me with a guitar and a cello that are both lead. And she was just like, what are you doing?
Why are you doing this to me? Are you the youngest of 3?
I am.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 3 also. So you're just trying to get more attention. That's all you're trying to do. You're like...
It worked. All right. No, nobody ever called my older brother to come out in the middle of a family gathering and go, hey, run around the room. Let him see how quick you are.
Hey, do you want to come on out here? Come on out here. We see your long legs. Let's show something here. Let's show something.
Let's go, Hussein. Get out there.
Yep. It is.
No.
I had that also of like my grandma was in a nursing home by the time I was in high school. And yeah, your parents are like, hey, go play her guitar. She'll appreciate it. And you're like,
Right.
And now
Yeah.
as an adult with kids, as my parents are getting older, they're in their 60s. They're not that old. But some part of me is like, I now understand what my parents were asking. They were just trying to like include me in my grandma's life in a way that would be pleasant. And I was being a mopey teenager.
Right. Right. Yeah, I guess that's true. I was always kind of bashful to do it.
Yeah.
But then as soon as it started, I was like, well, this is what I was supposed to do anyways, you know? And it felt very like, well, yes, peasants, celebrate me. Celebrate how cool I am.
Louder for your clapping.
Yes, I know Nat King Cole as a 12-year-old. Here we go.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, do you mostly do co-writes now? Do you play shows that often?
Yeah, no, I still play a lot.
Cool.
You know, that's kind of the quickest way to make a buck in this business.
Yep.
And so I still play a lot. I do I back a lot of different artists up, friends, and I write a ton. I do a lot of corporate events, private events.
Okay.
And then and like I do songwriter festivals and the like.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun, man. As soon as I'm done with our episode, I'm doing cello recordings tonight. So that's
cool.
Yeah.
So you have like a home studio where you just kind of set up and lay down some tracks?
It sounds way better than these iPhone headphones. It sounds way better. So my oldest is on the other side of that wall.
Nice.
And this is where I play cello. So
cello kind of carries a bit.
She has a really loud hatch.
One of my friends refers to their hatch as their jet engine because that's how loud they put it up, is because it almost sounds like a jet engine in there.
Oh, yeah. I want to be able to slam every door in this house and her not be able to hear it. Like, that is my goal.
Are either of your kids light sleepers?
I don't know if I'd say they're light sleepers. I will say that if I shut the hatch off, wake.
Yeah, gotcha.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that means they're a light sleeper. Excuse me, or if they are, if they're sensitive to change.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I grew up next to a really busy roadway.
Okay.
And our windows were always cracked or open, and so I can pretty much sleep anywhere at any time for any reason and not wake up. Like, cool. I'm a really good sleeper, but I don't know what's going to do to them.
I mean, I get weirded out. Like if you've ever been in a building, whenever like they're working on the AC and they turn off the HVAC unit and then there's no white noise at all. That's like, weird. That weirds me out. And I can't like focus on anything else. Cause I'm just like, why is everything so loud? Why can I hear everyone breathing? So like, have you always breathed this loud? And then I'm like, you're overanalyzing some weird things right now, Devin. Just exist.
Mine is tinnitus.
Oh,
in those moments, I have this deafening tinnitus in my ears.
Yeah.
So too many years standing next to a ride cymbal.
That'll do it. We went to the Grand Canyon once and stayed like in an Airstream trailer, like 40 miles away.
How cool is that?
It was really cool. The night sky was like gorgeous. And like whenever we went out there, like I was like, I know I have some tinnitus, but like there's literally like no noise besides like the wind or you talking. And I was like, is my tinnitus always this bad? Because I feel like all I can focus on right now is how loud like the ringing is in my ears. So
yeah, well, that's what they say about those quiet rooms. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about, like the hyperbaric chamber. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Are you talking also like float tanks? If you've ever heard of like deprivation chambers?
Deprivation chamber. Yeah. Well, they've got the room at Blackbird Studios. Also, is like the quietest room.
Yeah.
One of the quietest rooms ever, or something like that. And it's people can't be in there very long before they start like freaking out.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah. They're like, you can hear your heart beating.
Yeah.
Outside of your chest, you can hear like your gut and stuff. It's weird.
Whenever you record, do you try to stay in your home studio or do you go around town that much?
Oh, I'll say yes to anything. Yeah. I'm down.
Cool.
I'm down. It's sometimes if I know the client personally and I feel like I feel like it's going to take me a long time to do this track and I really want to do something creative or something that's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
Then I kind of would rather do it at home because I can take the time to build what I want to build and then share it. When you're in the studio, there's a sense of efficiency you're trying to keep to.
Yep.
Because it costs money, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so in the same way, actually with writing, in the same way that sometimes it's harder to get deeper songs. For me, it's harder to get deeper songs in a co-write because there's a sense of efficiency that you're trying to live up to. Like, hey, we want to have something in 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
Versus me free writing verses for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then finding a line there, you know, that talks about, I don't know, the emotional stability of the ripple of a puddle in the Everglades, you know, whatever. That kind of thing. It's just it's a difference.
Yeah. Well, you also have to like share it a little bit. So I mean, personally, if I have to share, like to me, writing, even a chord progression has some intimacy to it. So to then share it with someone, like, it's not that you have like a wallop, but it's kind of like, this isn't fully mine. So I need to distance myself from it in some way. Because when the other person wants to help out, I need to not be so connected to it that I'm like, no, you can't change that line.
Yeah, it was perfect.
It was perfect. Why would you change that? It was incorrect grammar, actually.
Let me tell you what the line is.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I try really. It's a co-writing is an act of like giving and giving away. If that makes sense.
Yep.
It's cool. It's fun. It's just hard. It can be hard.
It is.
You know.
Subject change, just because I think it'll be funny to discuss.
Pampers
right. Or Huggies. No. How goes? So we were a little late to getting on this call, not because of technical difficulties, but because of you trying to put one of your kids to bed. Yeah. What is your nighttime experience like with your kids? Can you predict it, or is it just kind of like you fell asleep eventually?
We've reached the negotiating phase.
Yes, that's fun.
We have. No, generally speaking, we have a pretty good, somewhat rigid, but somewhat flexible flow to the evening. And so we do dinner. It depends too, because so right now our youngest is home with me during the day.
Okay.
And so I can only really work at night. I can only gig at night. I can only write at night. I can only do session work at night. So if I have to go to town, my appointments, the earliest I can get out of here is 7:15, 7:20. And so 8:00 is my start time for like co-writes or something downtown. So on those days, there's a push for, hey, my wife and I get home from the gym at this time. We start dinner. We try and keep dinner to this length. We go to bath, we go to bed, we go to, you know what I mean? Like try and get it really quick. Tonight I'm home, so it was a little more lackadaisical.
Yeah.
We did pasta. We did pasta night. We had a sit down dinner. It was nice, and then we moved into bath. And then once we got done with bath, we got into the bed, and my oldest was just chock full of energy. And so we've been doing wrestling. I stand at the edge of her bed and I go, show me your muscles. She says, show me your muscles. And then she sprints at me as fast as she can, and I throw her on the bed.
That's awesome.
And so we just do that to try and unload unload some built up chutzpah. And then we moved into we read a couple stories, and then she's really been into bullet ants right now.
What are bullet ants?
The biggest ant in the world.
Okay. I'm sure you can tell me all about bullet ants.
They're like that big.
Okay. Like the size of a bullet?
Like well, they're called bullet ant because the sting, because they have teeth, but they also have a stinger.
What?
Their sting feels like a gunshot.
Okay.
And
I would hate to be the person who found that out and had to name them.
Buddy, there are tribes.
Oh, okay.
There are tribes of people that in order to be a part of the tribe,
you have to be, my gosh.
You have to wear these gloves made of palm fronds covered in bullet ants.
Why?
For X amount of time.
Oh, man.
And it's
initiation rites, man. They're fun.
Man, tell you what, gangs in the South Side ain't got nothing on these
exactly,
tribes.
Right? Yeah.
No, they basically... Yeah, it's these giant ants. And so I found a weird corner of YouTube where these guys go to these rainforests and get these awful insects and then put them on their arm and get stung and then describe the pain to people on the camera.
Why?
And my daughter loves it.
What?
She loves it. I have no idea.
YouTube scares me. Sometimes YouTube scares me of like what you can find on there. I'm just like, why does this need to exist?
Scares me.
Why does this need to scare? Like, anytime my girls are like, hey, let's watch this on YouTube, I'm like, oh, YouTube's broken. YouTube's asleep.
Yeah. No, she's super into orcas.
What?
Octopus and bullet ants right now. That's like, and tigers. We're really into tigers.
So she's going to be a zoologist later on in life? Hopefully.
Sure. She can be whatever she wants. Whatever.
Or she's going to be a YouTuber who gets bit by bullet ants.
Or like a serious hunter. Like an unbelievable wild game hunter.
Yeah, basically.
You know, to be like that guy from the Jumanji movie with the big musket.
That's right. Yeah. I wish I knew that guy's name off the top of my head, but
that would be a good pull.
I'm bad on this trivia question.
No, so that's kind of our thing. And then I usually take care of oldest if I'm home. Mm-hmm. And then my wife nurses and gets the littlest to sleep. She's still in the room with us.
Cool.
So I'm trying to get her down until she revisits us halfway through the night. Yeah.
Yep. How old is your youngest again?
10 months.
10 months, yeah. So hopefully like in 6 months she's sleeping through the night, right? You know?
Sure.
Who knows? Yeah.
Sure.
So much of parenting is just acceptance. Like,
it feels like you're on a boat in the 1700s. You're like, I know we're going to get there.
Yeah.
I have no timetable whatsoever. No concept of where we are.
Yep.
You know, we'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there.
That's it.
And it'll be fine.
Yeah. And it's fun. I like that part of it because it's on her schedule, and we're not going to push her or you know, what is the old adage is let them cry and they'll figure it. Like I hate that. I can't do that.
We did that like whenever our kids were more like 14 months old or something like that. The first year of life was very hard for us to feel like that was a good idea. It was appropriate. Yeah. So we like co-slept. With our first kid, we did stuff by the rules, had her in a crib, had her in a different room. And then for the other two, like co-slept for the first year, basically. And my wife also breastfed, which makes the co-sleeping experience a little bit different because they aren't in as deep of a sleep whenever it's breast milk versus bottles and all that good stuff. As I justify my decisions. So
I read that book. No.
Yeah. So nope, I'm with you. Before the kid's 1, to be like, no, you go cry and figure it out, just feels like
heartless.
I think it's it's a bad tone to set for the relationship.
Yeah.
You're screaming your needs at me and I'm looking at you and saying, you don't know what you want. And then I leave the room. I just feel like that's not the best soil for a relationship. You know?
Yeah, no, I do think that you are on spot with that garden reference. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, we're the only mammal that doesn't sleep with their young.
Yeah.
Like it's already weird. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I'm fine with her being in there as long as she's in a crib. She's in like a pack and play for now. Mm-hmm. Which she's not thrilled about, but
no,
you know,
but I wouldn't be either. So
yeah, it's true. It's true.
Pretty much.
Anyway.
Nighttime routines are hilarious. And I feel like every single night is different. And I feel like if our kids are asleep by 9 p.m., then I feel like we did it successfully.
Big win.
But I cannot guarantee that any kid will, like maybe the youngest I can usually get to fall asleep by 8 or so.
How old are yours?
8, 6, and 3.
Okay.
So the older two, that's always like just kind of like all right, we usually try to start bedtime like between 7 and 7:30. Hopefully, like the process, you know, pajamas, brushing teeth. Do you get to watch one last show before you go to bed?
Right.
And then you can read books for a little bit in bed. So hopefully by 9, all lights are out and kids are at least like not still talking and giggling. Mm-hmm. But some nights I feel like we're successful. Some nights it's like, oh my God. And then like by the time you get a kid asleep, you're look at your wife and you're like, do we have any energy to like talk or discuss our lives at all? And some days you do, some days you don't. And then
most likely not.
Most likely not. What's your wife do for a job?
She is a property claims adjuster for an insurance company.
Oh man, that probably has some stories to it.
Yeah, you know how you were talking about not being able to do things around the house, like fix things up.
Yes.
Like when there was a concern that we had a leak in our crawl space, it was not your boy.
No.
That went down there. All right. It was the insurance adjuster who had the flashlight and had all the things and the toolkit and all that stuff. She carries a ladder in her car.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, dude. She's on rooftops. She's a freaking rock star.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure she also did it while pregnant, also got into crawl spaces, all that good stuff.
Less so. Yeah,
less so. It's a little bit harder getting out of the crawl space with the belly. So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she's a freaking badass, dude.
Cool.
I'm grateful.
Yeah.
She didn't know where the car battery was though, so I feel okay about that.
Do you feel like you are like a stay-at-home dad if you spend most of your days at home with the kids until you go off and do your job? Do you almost because I feel like you've got a pretty heavy foot in that door or in that world.
I do. I don't really think of it. To be honest with you, I don't really think about it. I do say like during the day, yeah. From I say during the day it's daddy daycare, right? I'm kind of doing that part because she works a full-time gig and she's busting her butt.
Yeah,
she starts at 7, and our oldest doesn't go to school till 9. So that first couple hours, we get breakfast going, and that whole thing is very much me. And then once we're into the day, like I'm with the youngest throughout the day, and I try and do what I can around the house. It's a young one like that is like, you set her down, she's pissed. Pick me back up. And so, but by the time I'm leaving, like if I'm done, if I have an event to get to, like my wife is crushing. She's by herself the rest of the night, and then she's like working all day at a hard job, and then immediately jumping right into it. So it doesn't so much feel like a stay-at-home dad thing. It feels like we're both working 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
With no vacation.
Yeah.
And our bosses can be jerkish. Like
Yep. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I have been since like 2019. And that's always the question. Who's my boss? Is it my wife? Which kid is it? Like, does it change every day? Like,
it fluctuates. Yeah.
It fluctuates every single day.
Yeah.
And
that depends on who's hungry right now.
Yeah, basically. And if I'm hungry, then I'm the boss in that moment. So
right.
Basically.
Right. Yeah. It's I really don't want to say that I feel like a stay-at-home dad, because I think that takes away from like someone who actually is.
I gotcha.
But I do feel like I'm working 2 full-time jobs, and my wife feels like she's working 2 full-time jobs. So there is that part. And what you have to do then is, for us, we have to be really deliberate about carving out time for each other.
Yep.
And then carving out time for ourselves.
Yeah.
Which is hard because from the outside, the guy that goes and plays corporate events at a resort or at a beach gig or something like that, a lot of the time that can look like a vacation, and it's not working at the DMV for sure, but it's also is still work. And so there's a level of like, I've gotten home from beach gigs from like being on an island for 3 days and been like, I could really use a break actually. Because it's just different. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there's some level of like, I think what's exhausting about getting older is, or one of the many things, is just performance in general. And like, whenever you're out at a beach gig, a corporate event, like there's a certain level that you have to be at, in which like, you probably get those gigs by being good at them and then being asked back. So like if you have an off night, if you have a night in which like someone wants to banter with you and you're like, I don't got it in me, man, then like that's not good. So like you actually have to raise your level more and more. Then you come home, your wife is exhausted, she wants to go to bed, and then a kid starts crying in bed, and you're like, well, it's parenting, being an adult is this constant like, okay, I need to be a little bit more in this area of my life, no matter what you've already given. You just have to look at it and be like, okay, apparently I have to give more, and this is only temporary, and my kids will get older and gain independence. But until then, I'm just gonna figure out what giving more means today. And
so I played a gig until 1:30 on Saturday night.
Yeah, how was that?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I played 2 gigs. I played 2 to 5, and then 10:30 to 1:30.
Okay, cool.
And then I got home at 2:15, and then my youngest woke up at 4.
Yeah.
And she'd woken up before that as well. And so my wife had her initially, and when I got home, I took her off, and laid her down, and she woke up very quickly after that. And I was just like, okay, tonight's a 2-hour night. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Rad. And thankfully I got a nap the next day when they both went down. But you're like, hey, this needs to happen. And I'm the one that noticed it. So, all right, here we go.
Yeah. Or you have to then wake up your sleeping wife, who probably
not going to happen. Nope.
Exactly. So what you do in that moment then is you look up and you go, you know what? Coffee exists for a reason. And I'm just if my wife tomorrow is like, wow, you seem a little crabby and everything, like, oh, hey, our kid woke up again. I really don't want to wake you up. I'm trying to be it's the, whenever you have.
I'll wake her up if it's like inconsolable and it's very clear that it's hunger.
Yes.
If it's something I'm like, hey, I got useless nipples. I can't help you here. I can hold you and you can barrel roll like a crocodile. But I think that we're better served if you eat.
Pretty much. Yep. That's what all this rooting and anger and then everything. It's the joy of, no matter how old your kid is of being like, you're communicating. Do I actually want to hear what you're communicating in this moment? You're communicating, I want to eat. And what I'm trying to do is let your mom sleep because that's more important to me in this moment. It's not the solution. So
don't put on your noise canceling headphones.
Yeah. No. I think there was one time whenever we just had one kid in which I wasn't sure if it was hunger or what, but I actually put our oldest, she was a February baby, so it was very cold out. I put her in a stroller and walked circles around our townhome in hopes that she would fall back asleep, just trying to get my wife 30 extra minutes of sleep, just literally any break. I mean, at 30 minutes, I woke up and said, hey, nothing I'm doing is helping or making anything better.
Nice.
Which is a great sentence to say.
Right.
It feels real good.
I'm chopping a tree with a butter knife. Can you please help
basically.
me?
Can you just that's the other fun of like being a dad is like the moments whenever you look up and be like, hey, I don't want to say this, but everything I do makes things worse because they just want you. And I literally don't have a purpose here besides, do you want some snacks? Do you need a drink? Like,
right.
I always try to tell people, like, whenever you have a newborn, if your wife breastfeeds especially, like the most important thing you can do is figure out how to make your wife's life easier if possible, because they're probably going to be the answer to most of the problems that your child has. And it's not going to be you.
Yeah. It's something too that I was listening to, and I can't remember where I heard it. It was talking about dopamine, and that your wife gets a dopamine hit from feeding.
Yep.
And that you do not get a dopamine hit from feeding whatsoever, but you get a dopamine hit from play.
Yeah.
And so that there's a first period of time that you're not really playing. You know, your baby is just kind of existing, and our job is to keep them alive. Like that's all you're kind of doing. And in that time, you can feel really helpless and really kind of just subservient to, I can bring you water, I can make you comfortable, but that's about all and I can rock that baby like you wouldn't believe, but that's about all I can do.
Yep.
That had its moments of being really hard. And I've found with both of our girls now, and my wife and I've talked about this of like, she's comfort and I'm joy. If you think about it like that, like, and, sometimes the kids are looking for dad's hug or mom. Like it's very clear they're looking for one specific response.
Yeah.
And that helped us a lot to be like, oh no, this is a dad moment. Okay, hold on.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's been rad. And then now we started doing, I'm sure you do this too. We started doing daddy-daughter, mother-daughter dates.
Yeah. We do them whenever it makes, like movie theaters, fun stuff like that of like, hey, let's go just go get a donut or something like that.
We literally just did
really?
Daddy-daughter donut date.
Cool.
And my oldest literally told everyone at school. She's
cool.
like, I'm going on a daddy-daughter donut date. You know. And we went to Dunkin' Donuts and had a coffee roll. It was great.
You're literally like, it's fun. Because like, if you want to treat me, I'm like, all right, cool. What's like a really fun Italian restaurant? Can I go to a show? Like, I got all this where your daughter is literally like, you spent $2 on a donut. And like, she's happy about it for like a month.
We spent 40 minutes inside of Dunkin' Donuts, which is probably the most time I've ever spent inside of a Dunkin' Donuts in my whole life.
Yep.
And she had a blast, and
Yeah.
we ended up buying a dog donut treat, like a squishy thing that she couldn't take her mind off of, and she threw it around the restaurant and chased after it. Like, it was great.
Just pure joy.
We had a blast.
Yep.
Total unadulterated joy.
Yep.
And so we're going to be doing that a lot more, and that helps me too. I think that brings out purpose and brings out like that useful feeling, you know.
I don't know how creative with like painting she is, but there are some pottery spots like near Green Hills. I can't remember the name of it is, where you buy the ceramic piece and then you paint it and then they fire it in the kiln and then you come back like a week later. I'll send it to you. I think like brush fire might be the name of it, but I've done that with both my daughters also though, of just like that going, spending like the Saturday morning, like painting something basically, and then coming back the next week and be like, look, this is what this turned into. Isn't this cool? So
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You guys
you do a walk too, don't you?
Yeah, we try to do every Saturday, weather permitting, dad walks in Shelby Bottoms, like nature center area.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's kind of hard to like, well, yeah, like when do you get to hang out with dads? Whenever like, and bring your kid. And like, unless you go to a playground and hopefully another dad makes eye contact with you long enough and gives you the head.
If they're not watching football on their phone, yeah.
Basically.
They're like, how about them Colts? And you're like, I don't really like horses.
I'm a Colts fan and they're doing okay. They're 2-2.
See how I did that?
Yeah. That's right. No, we'll talk about the Dolphins, who I think are currently playing the Titans, I think. I don't know.
Dan Marino still play with them? Or?
No, just so you know. It's been a bit.
You want to talk NASCAR? I'm with you all day.
Okay, cool. I got nothing.
You lose me at sports. I just can't.
That's fun.
I can't. Well, I know they're athletes. I know.
Yeah. Listen, we'll just discuss cello tunings and mandolin tunings instead and avoid all sports-related discussions. How we end every episode is by asking every guest the same 5 questions. So you'll have time to think about it, not rapid fire. So first question, did you have any backup names for your girls? Like any names you almost named them?
Nope.
None. Just like this is it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you have such certainty?
Next question.
I really got to record this cello part. The answer to every question is sounds good, man.
No, we really liked, we would talk back and forth on them. But when we landed on Eleanor and Amelia, we were both like, that's it. That's the one. Yeah.
Nice. Sometimes you do just know. So
yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah. We have a boy name already picked out.
Okay.
If that were to come up.
Yeah.
But like, we're that way. I don't know.
You've also got to like make it through your second kid still being less than a year old. I feel like before you discuss if you want a third kid.
Oh no, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, next question. Do you have a favorite TV dad?
Ooh. I have 2.
You can do both.
Yeah. Do I have 2? I have 3.
Ooh.
Jim from The Office.
Okay.
I very much feel akin to Jim from The Office.
Yes.
And Phil Dunphy.
Yep.
And Bluey's dad. Yeah.
Phil Dunphy is a surprisingly consistent answer.
He's so awesome.
He is.
You know?
He's fascinating because like I feel like I watched Modern Family because I was like 2010s or so and I wasn't married. I was in a relationship. So I remember like thinking he was a fun dad and quirky and everything. But now as a dad, I'm like, wait a second. I need to rethink Phil Dunphy.
This dude's the star of the show. What are you talking about? Yeah.
He did a lot of things right.
Yeah.
Oh man. Next question. Do you have a least favorite kids show? Like whenever your daughters watch it or movie, you're like, can I leave the room? Do I have to sit here and watch this? Can I be out of here?
I have ones that I'm just like I'm tired of.
That can count.
Not that they're bad because we don't really watch. Like we watched 30 seconds of Coco Melon and I shut that off. And it was just like I can't stand this.
Way to trust your gut and instincts.
Yeah, it's just like
yeah.
And same thing with the pig, Peppa Pig.
Yeah, Peppa's pretty annoying.
All that stuff just really it tricked me in a weird way.
Yeah.
Goodness, I'm kind of tired of Super Kitties.
Oh, Super Kitties is so bad. I can't stand it.
I'm kind of tired of Puppy Dog Pals.
Have you started watching the second season of Super Kitties, in which they're purred up? Like instead of powered up, it's purred up. Oh, he's grimacing. This is not a video podcast, but Brian just did a phenomenal grimace.
That sounds terrible.
It is. My middle child is obsessed with it, and every time I'm like, I gotta leave. I think I need to do laundry or something.
No, yeah, we're into Disney movies now.
Okay,
so we're having a grand old time going back through our favorite movies. My daughter's favorite song right now is Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, which is awesome. I'm here for that.
Yep,
I'm straight up here for that.
Nice.
Yeah. Next question.
Next question. Favorite kids toy or activity? When your girls do it, you also like playing with them, or like favorite activity to do with your girls? Let's play.
Magic tiles.
Yeah. Magnet tiles. Yeah. How long do they stay up before your daughters both destroy them with a huge smile on their face?
They don't do that.
They don't.
They're not into
what?
They're not into the crash.
Oh wow.
I'm into the crash. I live for the crash.
Okay.
But they are not as impressed by loud noises as I am. Yeah.
They're not here for destruction.
No, not yet. No, they choose violence in other ways. But
it's also not something you want to encourage your daughters. Like, no, go destroy this. Someone just built it.
Yeah, I mean, there is an argument to like building something and letting it go, right?
Yeah.
Like being able to step away from it. But no, I love tearing them down.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Last question.
Okay.
Moment of your kid's life you're most excited to be a part of?
Okay. So far, I don't know about the whole thing. I can't really speak to the whole of life. That's a big question. But
it is.
The most fun moment for me so far, my oldest, we taught her interrupting cow knock joke the other day.
Yeah.
And you would have thought I gave her the keys to the candy kingdom. Like she was so happy to say, knock, who's there? Interrupting cow, interrupting it, moo.
Yeah.
And like a full body moo that you've never seen before. Like it was the best. It was, that's the most fun for that one. Awesome. And then for my youngest, we put a princess crown on her yesterday. She found my daughter had silly hat day, and so they had a princess crown, and she found it, and she started like chewing it, and then she put it on her head. 10 months old. I didn't know she knew how to do that, but she did. And then I picked her up and I showed her in the mirror what she looked like, and she just like biggest grin that she's had in her whole life so far.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just like lost it. It was
That's
the
awesome.
cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then the only other thing is just seeing them play together and crack each other up, and it not be anything that we're doing. Like us actually probably would screw this up if we got involved in it.
Yeah.
And they were just loving each other, and it was such a beautiful moment, Yeah. Those are my favorite moments so far.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, whenever your kids seem genuinely happy and carefree, it is hard not to be like, oh, I'm doing something right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I still think I'm doing everything wrong, but I think
for this small glimpse, you.
I said to my wife, I was like, man, we make really good kids. I hope we don't screw this up.
Yeah, basically.
This is great.
Or I usually don't say, I hope I don't screw this up. I say, I hope I'm aware of how I'm screwing this up.
That's good. That's good.
Because I'm going to regardless. So let me just at least know.
You're very forgiving to yourself. I have a lot more. Just like
we'll have your therapy session after this. Okay, just like, hey Brian, you're doing okay. Okay, all right, man, you're doing it. You're also like, thanks, whenever your kid is less than 1, actually, when your kid is less than 2, everything is like, I survive, right? Like in this story, we survive, right? Like everything's okay.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
God. Yeah.
Last thing for you. Always want to give people opportunity for self-promotion. So like if we want to like follow your songs, follow your music, follow your Instagram, any promotion like that.
So I was really surprised that this handle was available, but you can follow me on Instagram at BS Songs. I'm stoked. I can't believe that I got it.
That is awesome. And it's both. It's BS Songs. So it's like the full
BSSONGS. No spaces. Follow me. I have no idea where I'm going.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find your music on like Spotify and all that stuff.
I'm on Spotify. I'm on YouTube. And I'm on Instagram and I'm everywhere.
Brian, I love this. Was a fun episode because it did deal with the reality of being a parent. I was like, hey, I'm going to be a little late. Why? My kid isn't asleep yet. I can't get on a phone call. Hey, man, how's your phone working out? Oh, that app isn't going to work for me. Let me figure something out. So, dude, you're in the thick of it. Everything does level out at some point in time. And I'm glad you have a good like energy or you seem grateful for everything that your life is. So
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much.
Have fun recording some cello parts. And I'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Sweet. Thanks, Brian. Thanks so much for listening. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Nashville Dads. And make sure to follow us on anywhere you find your podcast. And please give us a 5-star rating. And thank you to Matt Oakes for providing the music for the episode. Catch you next time.